Hey, there we are. We're gonna go live a little while today on A1A near the Palm Coast. Gonna be going maybe about a half an hour and just enjoying a beautiful day. Let's get this thing turned around there. There we go. Get my navigator going again. Going on a Greenway trail here in just a minute. Looks like it's going to be kind of nice though. So we're going to go just a few miles today in this beautiful, beautiful weather. It is absolutely perfect right now. A little cool starting off this morning, about 45. A little breezy, but not too bad. I think I had to go back across the street here. I kind of got off track there a little bit. I went into town, or I might have live streamed a little earlier, but I had to go to the grocery and get lunch and those things. Yeah, I need to go across the street and then across the street. Okay, well, I stopped. It's my turn. Nobody's coming. It's still my turn. There we go. I believe this is the trail I'm looking for. No motor vehicles. There we go. Got a nice strong signal today. Yeah, okay, I'm following, right? Chat's open. Come on in and say a few words. Neat little trail. Gonna follow the road now, I guess. I thought this was in the woods, to be honest, but that's alright. We'll be back down on the coast in a few minutes. We'll follow the coast for a little while today. Been enjoying it here in Florida. Finally, I'm getting sunny days in sunny Florida. It's kind of funny that the first 2 or 3 days turned out with some overcast, a lot of overcast for the first 2 days. And expect the temperatures to drop some, but I'm noticing I'm back home in Huntsville. Temperatures are dropping into the low 20s. Oh boy. Ain't that a great thing to go home to? But at least it's 45 here, and the further south I go, the warmer it gets. And low temps is 45. I think Key West low temps now are about 60, 65. They're still in 75, 80, I believe. So I'm something like, I don't know, 500 miles to go. About 80% done on the East Coast Greenway. Past probably around 2,300 miles now on the Greenway. We having a big time. Love them trikes. that's the thing about it. You know, I've been watching, of course, the weather. I'm always watching the weather. And Helene crashed into North Carolina before I got there. So the weather was still pretty good up in North Carolina. Now hurricane season coming to an end, and even though we're getting some cooler temperatures, if a hurricane were to hit anywhere along the Florida coastline, I'd surely be in a torrential downpour. Of course, that would be assuming it would hit the west coast in the Gulf of Mexico, which is more typical, of course. But I guess they've had them hit the east coast. I don't know. Not very often, anyway. But anyway, hey, here we are. Beautiful weather, no rain, nice temperatures. I don't think my timing could have been any better, even though I'm having to be careful to not go too far because I've already made reservations for the ferry down there to leave out of Key West. Plans to leave out of Key West and go to Fort Myers, at which point, one way or another, I'll be heading back up north. One of the caveats along this part of the coastline is that to get to the discount grocery store or even a McDonald's, I had to go nearly 5 miles inland today. Which made for, well, about a 9-mile round trip in and out of there. And that's okay. Since I needed to kind of slow down anyway. It's really easy at this point to get ahead of schedule because my daily allocation of miles sometimes gets stretched a little bit if I have to go a little further to get to my next place to camp. So going in and out like that kind of slows things down. Didn't stream yesterday. I guess I didn't stream the day before. Yesterday I took a day off, and I wasn't fully prepared to take a day off, but I was in a good spot, and so I had enough to eat and enough water to drink, but I had to dig into my secondary reserves. Ran out of coffee this morning. Lord have mercy. If you got coffee, you can go for, I don't know, 6 months or so on making my coffee, I'm pretty sure. But had to make, didn't have nothing but a quart of milk with my protein powder mix. And but that's okay. That got me into town and had some hot chicken bouillon in place of my coffee. But it was worth having the day off. I could have got up yesterday and gone a few more miles, but it seemed like a good place and a good thing to do right there. Get a little rest. Cut my allocation a little bit and get back closer to my schedule so I don't get ahead of my reservation. Just a little bit of breeze, but not really much today. I believe, about to get back to the coastline. Now, I'm not exactly sure. I should have looked a little closer at the map. I think this is where A1A slid off into the ocean. Yeah, I don't know how long. It seems like it's been a few years ago, because I think I knew about that, but a testament to the power of erosion and maybe even rising sea levels due to global warming. My theory on that is that whether it's man-made or not, it's happening, and the long-term consequences are best prepared for rather than denied. And I'm not convinced they can actually stop it, because some of it I know is natural cycle. But then we're also in a cycle, a weather cycle. There was some back up in Huntsville. They had an extremely hot summer last summer. One of the hottest, got hot really early, all the way in June it looked like. And now they're getting this very cold weather early, 1st of December, and in more recent years, for a while, it's been 70 and 80 degrees, 70 degrees for daytime temps, and not going down to the low 20s. My goodness. So the weather changes in cycles, but there are also longer cycles. And maybe the contributions of global warming. Anyway, yeah, it looked like, I don't know, I didn't measure it out. I'm not even sure this is the area. It looks like this is A1A came inland. There is a section where A1A detour cause it he right away. The Jimmy Buffet Memorial, I guess A1A. If that one in the middle is an L, then it's the Alabama Highway. I seen a fort back at, I guess that was St. Augustine. I breezed in and out of St. Augustine. I meant to do a live, and the timing was off for where I was at, and didn't really have the time to get it started. Next thing I knew, I was already through the tourist district. But a lot of these areas are clearly not populated with tourists right now, but these big homes too, that it looks like maybe a lot of them vacated, may not be here, maybe further south, or you know, these are very wealthy people who they can go anywhere anytime they want to, I guess. Most of them, maybe some of them are tethered to some sort of job, position, whatever it is. But anyhow, but St. Augustine was crawling with tourists to have gotten some, can do that path back over here. Whoops. But anyhow, yeah, but I guess all the folks there touristing in St. Augustine, I mean, it looked like the French Quarter. Well, it looked like the New Orleans French Quarter with all the foot traffic in that area right there. But it was a chilly and blustery day, and it was a little surprising to see all the people outside, but the day before had been up to almost 80 degrees, so right on the borderline of nice and not so nice. They were already there on their vacations, I suppose, holiday trips. So there they were. It turned off cold for a couple of days. Chilly. Daytime temps still are not too bad right here. Still getting up to 60. It seems to me it may be pushing 65, but then again, I'm in the full sunshine. I mean, clear as a crystal blue sky today. Bright. And that's good because I got the solar panel up on the front end charging the battery. And live streaming is always contingent on having enough backup battery to make sure that the navigation system is running. That's the biggest, highest priority. So if it comes down to saving battery and not even posting on social media, much less live streaming, then that's still the highest priority. But I try to be sure to have enough. And having the solar panels made all the difference because I can almost pretty much recharge a 20,000 milliamp backup bank each day. And that's basically enough for the navigation. Then whatever I can do when I eat lunch, or maybe if I stop at the library, once in a while things start getting low, I'll stop at the library if I can find one. Sometimes the laundries have it. Sometimes they don't. They're not as dependable in terms of having some plugs that you can use, but you still got to do the laundry once in a while. Had to come back on this side of the road. I'm not getting any sun here, but I have a nice apron over here, and I'm going to get the sunshine on the solar panel here instead of over there where it's shady. Another thing about these roads, A1A, man, this is a dream for biking. The only time that I've enjoyed the ride as much, just in terms of the surface and the bike moves, was probably out at on the Cape Cod Rail Trail, which was only a 20-mile section. A1A is what, 500 miles or something? And it just goes on and on and on and on. Although it's a little contingent right here, I'd say. I guess I might have to go back to the sidewalk for a minute. But even the sidewalk here is pretty good. Its compression joints are not perfect. A little bouncy. And that's about enough to convince me to go back out here. Oh heck, now they've still got graded part where they repaved that. Looks like they had already graded it and repaved the main part and then skipped that little bit for some reason. I don't know why. Need to understand that they need to do these aprons. Shoulders. I didn't look that up. I'm still not sure what you're supposed to call the apron, what you're supposed to call the shoulder. I'll look that up. I think this is probably the apron, and the shoulder is over there where the grassy part is. But by extension, it may be either way or both, depending on exactly how it's constructed. So anyway, looks like they actually did this after the last paving for some reason. I don't know why they turned that into a quasi warning track, but that sure isn't good for a bike. That's part of the problem with these sidewalks. A lot of times they aren't as functional as the city planners would like to think, I guess. Usually the concrete sidewalks are usually pretty good if they're done right. They can, now right now for instance, the compression joints are perfect, but a lot of times the compression joints are bump after bump after bump after bump, even though the surface is very good for riding on. The bumps get pretty old. Of course, there were that wavy section back there, which is unusual for concrete. And then sometimes they have a lot of trouble with asphalt, I noticed too. Put the asphalt down, and I guess it's smooth, but by the time people are riding on it, after it's gotten a little older, maybe 5 or 10 years or something, it tends to be buckle up pretty badly almost every time. If it's not fairly new, it gets buckled up too bad to ride on. I don't know if that's a problem with preparing the bed. I think somebody said one time, you know, that part of the thing was that the amount of weight on an asphalt sidewalk doesn't hold it packed down like it does out on the road. I don't know the truth in that, or if it's just a shoddy way of putting it. I do know that it generally ends up not being a very good ride. But and I know too that they can do these sidewalks in a way that work, but the workers have to understand, and they have to take the extra care to make sure that the compression joints are matched on either side. And the fact is, a lot of times they don't. And then a lot of times it's still the same problem of trees and vegetation. Poke them up, roots underneath them poke them up. So I guess they do as best as they know how. I think some of them know how better than others. All right, here's the guys that are grating off this apron over here. Looks like they're going to cultivate a new stand of vegetation, some kind of grass, I guess. They're holding holding down the erosion right there. And that's a good thing. We don't want this part of A1A washing out into the ocean either. The Alabama Highway. I think somebody told me that one time. A lot of jokesters. I think that was some of my jokester friends at high school. So anyway, this side of Florida, the West Coast, I've never really visited before. Even as, of course, as a kid, we went to the Gulf, and even as an adult, we went to the Gulf Coast too, Panama City and Pensacola. I think Panama City these days is about run over for more like a college resort than it used to be more of a family resort. Maybe that's just the timing on it, I don't know. And these days with some of the schools going to year-round or almost year-round school, and then they got one of the breaks, it kind of changes everything all the way around. I don't know if I can drive through there or not. It looks like it'll be sandy, but we're going to try to drive through and get a GoPro view of the. Oh, this may be a. I don't know if this is an official. I don't know. Oh, that's a laundry for somebody. I guess for RVs. An RV park of some kind here. Oh, surf's up a little bit today. So there's some breeze coming in off the water, driving them waves. Get the surfer boys out here. Get the surfer boys and girls. I've never tried to surf. I guess generally you really need bigger waves than that. There's a flag. You can see how much the wind is blowing. Now I'm not feeling that much wind right now, but clearly see that it is. Whoops, it's a little too sandy. Get on around here. Beautiful, beautiful view. I'm cutting rooster tails on the sand. That's like water skiing. I used to be a water skier when I was growing up. But it's been a long time. Now we're going to have to go all the way back down the sidewalk because they sure chewed up this area. Sure wouldn't do that. of these RV parks are always amazing to me. It's the number of people that can't afford those things, but even that you can afford it and that you're willing to get those things. It doesn't, to me, look like I would ever get enough use out of it. I'm left, but I'm sure they're enjoying it. Stay in one place, put in $1 billion worth of gas and go to the next place. Of course, I knew one guy. He bought a camper, went camping all summer, then he sold it to the next person. And maybe they do that too, get some use out of it, and get a new experience, and pass it on, and then go do something different for your own self. Talking to a fellow this morning on a bike. He was from Germany, he said, and I didn't get all the exact details, but something like 10 or 15 years ago, he came over to the States, said when he was 50, and because of 50 states, I guess he didn't really elaborate on that too much, but apparently had it in mind to tour the 50 states, and but I've thought about that. We'll have to regroup a little bit when this part of the trip is over here, and see what else I might want to do. Yeah, it looks like they chewed out that apron next to the road pretty deliberately. That's kind of a shame because that's really a better surface generally than the sidewalks. But I guess we're going to use the sidewalk in this case. A lot of times when there are sidewalks, the bike lane is still there on the road. Saw a lot of people out fishing earlier this morning as I was coming in over some of the bridges. Now this is one of the rare places where you can actually see the ocean from the highway. And I think I've got my apron is back in place out there. I'm going to get a little bit closer and turn the camera over in that direction. Is that swivel on the shoes? Oh my goodness. Got a nice rolling wake today. Water is beautiful, clear. No red tide here, that's for sure. They're talking about that in the news. I didn't even read all of that, but I guess that's more on the west coast. And we got some beautiful water. It doesn't look all that mucky. No seaweed. Breakers are starting a little early, so there must be a bit of a sandbar there, rather than when I get all the way into the beach. Yeah, I don't think I've had this much view from the road since New Hampshire. And that was a great ride. I got into New Hampshire and got on the coast. I knew I was going to have a long day. Because once I got started, I wasn't going to stop on that day. I would have had to turn inland anyway, but riding in the late afternoon, that was just very enjoyable. It was just surreal. I don't know if you're quite getting it down there or not. I can't quite see it. Oh well, maybe not. Got smaller whitecaps, a couple hundred yards off the shore. So it must be pretty darn breezy out there. You're pushing those over like that. As small as they are, that's still. See, I'm not feeling much breeze at all here. That's kind of funny. was going fishing. Got a cart load of fishing gear. They mean business, I guess. He can put that on his bicycle if he wants to, I'll bet. Oh, for different locations. Looks like that's what it was. Looks like that's what he was working with, was a bicycle. Some kind. There was one stretch further up north where there was a lot of folks on the Greenway that were fishing. And most of them were riding their bikes down on the Greenway areas. Gosh, I can't even remember what that area is called now. It's the, I want to say it was Cape Cod Canal, or no. I think it was on the way back in from Cape Cod or on the way out to Cape Cod. That long canal there. Gosh, I can't even remember the name of it now. A whole lot of places to visit along the Greenway. Somewhere around 2,500 miles worth of new places, new scenes, and new names. Monuments and landmarks. Woo. I can't remember all of it. That's why I take a lot of pictures. This is bouncy. It's just not where they've chewed it out. It's been almost 45 minutes. I'm gonna pull over here and get a good view of the surf, and then I'm gonna regroup and gonna bring it to an end for today. Oh, let's see if I've got it on there. Yeah, there it is. Well, this is Jim Porter Casey. I'm on Highway A1A enjoying the beach and the sun and the surf. And I'm on my way to Key West. Everything goes right. And got a bird there. I guess that's a hawk. But I'm gonna go ahead and shut her down. And y'all keep an eye out. I'll be going live a time or two again. And as we go a little bit further down the path.